for being with us. Broadcasting from Chiapas, Mexico, I'm Ana Acevedo. It's 9:30 a.m. Mexican time, and today let's start with local and state news. The governor of the state of Chiapas, Eduardo Ramírez Aguilar, alongside the state secretary of health, Omar Gomez, reported on a virtual meeting held with Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, and governors from all federal entities across the country. The meeting, conducted via Zoom, focused primarily on measles, which has been identified as a priority public health concern. During the session, officials agreed to strengthen prevention and control strategy for this viral disease, aiming to prevent new infection nationwide. The governor emphasized that Chiapas currently has a sufficient supply of vaccines, allowing health brigades and vaccination sites to remain active in different communities through the states. This effort will be primarily directed at children between 6 months and 12 years of age, considered the most vulnerable group of the virus. Authorities reiterate that vaccination is safe, free of charge, and represents a fundamental tool to protect the life and health of the child population. Through this coordination effort, authorities seek to ensure broad and effective immunization coverage, reinforcing the commitment to Chiapas and the federal government in the fight against measles. And continue with more state news. The governor of Chiapas, Eduardo Ramírez Aguilar, led the distribution of benefits from the program A Paso Firme at Salomón González Blanco Elementary School, directly supporting students at the institution. During the event, the state leader highlighted the importance of initiatives like this on strengthening academic development and providing better opportunities for children in Chiapas. In this remark, Ramírez Aguilar urged parents to remain attentive, noting that with support for President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, elementary school students may soon gain access to educational scholarship. He explained that this benefit will not only support student academic growth, but also help ease the finance burden of families. The program seeks to establish a complements framework that ensures more equitable access to education, reinforces the commitment of both state and federal government to children development. Through this action, authorities reaffirm the priority of advancing public policies that strengthen education and promote a future with greater opportunities for new generations. The Highland District Prosecutor Office launched the operation known as Safe Rural Highways in weeks' time, aiming to guarantee public safety during the Tanchak Carnival celebration. Tragedy is being carried out in coordination with the Indigenous Justice Prosecutor Office, the Ministerial Investigation and Intelligence Agency, the Guardia Nacional, and the State Preventive Guard. As part of the operation, perimeter security was implemented in the town center, while the municipal president led a ceremonial event as part of the festivities. Communities including San Gregorio, López Mateos, Los Ranchos, La Tejería, La Pila neighborhood, San Sebastián neighborhood, and the Chile Ejido participated in the celebration, with residents expressed gratitude to authorities for ensuring the event took place in a peaceful environment. The Attorney General Office reiterated its commitment to coordinated effort to combat crime and guarantee the safety of Chiapas residents. Under the principle of zero impunity, the institution emphasized that it will continue strengthening action and to preserve peace and public order in the region. And let's move on to another update. As part of public policies promoted by the governor of Chiapas, Eduardo Ramírez Aguilar, to guarantee the human right to water, the Director General of the State Water and Sanitation Commission, Karina Montesinos Cárdenas, held a meeting with the mayor of Jiquipilas, Blanca Janet Chiu Lopez. Also present were Public Works Director Guadalupe Lopez Molina and SAPAM Director Engineer Welcram Santos. During the meeting, officials reviewed priority hydraulic project and sanitation strategy for the municipality, establishing joint lines of action and strengthening existing infrastructure. Authorities agreed that this measure will help advance solutions that improve the quality of life for families in Jiquipilas. The meeting reaffirmed the commitment to coordinate work within state and municipal government to guarantee access to water and promote sustainable development. To this action, officials aim to consolidate projects that respond to community needs and ensure efficient and dignified public services. And now to Peninsula section. Federal Deputy for Yucatan, Jessica Seden Quiroz, President of the Citizen Security Commission, announced that the start of the legislative session, then ruling were approved in the Cámara de Diputados del Congreso de la Unión. The resolution aims to guarantee inclusion, justice, protection of natural resources, respect animal branches of government, and access to various rights for Mexican citizens. Among the approach measure is the declaration of June 21st as National Beekeeper Day, as well as the obligation for authorities to all three levels of government to ensure inclusive education. Lawmakers also approved adjustments to the legal concern of hosts in alignment with the current constitutional framework. Another key measure established sanctions for international conduct related to the creation and distribution of intimate sexual images, videos, or audio without consent through technological means. Additionally, the National Forestry Commission will collaborate with relevant authorities to develop a regional framework ensuring the timely available for aerial insurance for forest fire prevention, early detection, and response. These measures Congress reaffirmed its commitment to legislate in favor of security, justice, and social well-being. And continue with more national developments. Senator from Yucatan, Jorge Carlos Ramírez Marín, introduced an initiative focused on regulating extrajudicial debt collecting practices aiming to protect personal integrity while encouraging responsible fulfillment of financial obligations. The lawmaker emphasized two fundamental principles responsibility and respect. First, he stated that debts must be paid as they represent unavoidable commitment. Second, he stressed that the collection process should not be confused with harassment, intimidation, or violation of individual rights. The proposal seeks to establish clear guidelines to collect methods are conducted professionally, during appropriate hours, and without resorting to abusive practice. The objective is to ensure a balance between enforcing financial obligation and protecting the dignity of debtors. Ramirez Marin noted that the initiative represents a step toward modernizing collective mechanisms while safeguarding citizen rights and promoting accountability in financial commitments. Let's go now to Yucatan. The governor of Yucatan, Joaquín Huacho Díaz Mena, led the inauguration of a new covered recreational dome, along with the rehabilitation of a sport court in public park in the Fobis de Morelos neighborhood. This project aims to provide children, young people, and families with a safe, functional, and dignified space for community interaction. The governor explained that these initiatives result perfect people hearing held at the government palace and community dialogues conducted in the neighborhoods, mechanisms designed to really hear citizens' needs. Based on these records, public funds are authorities for projects that address the real demands for each community. The delivery of these facilities represents an effort to strengthen public spaces and promote social integration while addressing resident concerns. With this action, the state government reaffirms its commitment to working closely with population and promoting projects that improve quality of life in Yucatan communities. And now, we send a warm greeting to all the radio stations that rebroadcast our channel across the region. 101.5, La Multicultural de Chiapas, La Voz del Pueblo, Radio Flores Mahón, Play Hits in San Cristóbal de las Casas, Radio Morena en El Paral, From Wix, La Voz de Alerta, In Salto de Agua, From Villacomaltitlán, La Comaltitleca, La Pegadora, Radio Canoas, Radio Esmeralda, La Rancherita, La Pichonchera, La Mera Mera, La Cultura Radio, Inocoso 4 True, La Pegadora, and Radio Conexión, as well as Radio Migrante. Ready for adventure? If you're looking for quality, trust, and the best premise part for your ATV or service, Outdoors is your destination. Parts and accessories to keep you moving, featuring leading brands such as Polaris and Can-Am for models like Razor, Maverick, Rangers, Defenders, and more. Outdoors where adrenaline meets quality. Contact them at 938-124-8046 and discover why they are the best choice to keep your vehicle performing at its best. And now, we go to a break and return with national news. Stay with us, we'll be back after the break.
¿Por qué conformarte con menos cuando puedes tenerlo todo? Deja de buscar. Torre Caribe es la mezcla perfecta de ubicación estratégica y hospitalidad de clase mundial. Quédate en el corazón de Cancún, disfruta de la cercanía a las mejores plazas, playas y vive la experiencia que solo un experto en Airbnb puede darte. Somos súper anfitriones porque amamos lo que hacemos y tú vas a amar quedarte con nosotros. Por eso aprovecha nuestros días increíbles de superprecios. ¿Qué esperas? Ubicación increíble. espacio genial, experiencia inolvidable. Torre Caribe es tu pase VIP al paraíso.
Los muebles que tú necesitas para escuelas, oficinas, laboratorios y comercios los encuentras en Giré Muebles. El mejor precio, servicio y calidad es nuestro distintivo. Cotice hoy mismo al 961-2127-068, por WhatsApp al 961-279-4168.
En este noticiero que sabe escuchar, desde la sierra llega el clamor, se alza la noticia como un tambor. Montañas y ríos saben murmurar que lo importante aquí viene a informar.
Ya conoces al Teletón. Tal vez has visitado alguno de nuestros 27 centros. O conoces a alguien a quien le cambió la vida con sus terapias. Quizás conozcas el Hospital Infantil Teletón de Oncología o alguna familia que encontró esperanza en este lugar. Nos conoces en cada espacio que ha cambiado para ser más accesible para todos. Contigo hemos logrado cambiar historias, deportes e incluso la manera en la que hablamos. Nos conoces porque juntos lo hemos cambiado todo. Y prepárate, porque todavía hay mucho más por cambiar.
El Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines abre sus inscripciones para que estudies con nosotros, desde maternal, preescolar, primaria, secundaria y preparatoria, para que les des el futuro que merecen, ya que en el Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines formamos a tus hijos con educación de calidad, valores y acompañamiento integral. Inscríbelos y obtén el 15% de descuento en inscripción, válido del 1 al 28 de febrero. Invierte en su educación, invierte en su futuro. Agenda tu cita al 961-29-968-37 y al 961-26-993-61.
Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines, formando valores para toda la vida.
¿Por qué conformarte con menos cuando puedes tenerlo todo? Deja de buscar. Torre Caribe es la mezcla perfecta de ubicación estratégica y hospitalidad de clase mundial. Quédate en el corazón de Cancún, disfruta de la cercanía a las mejores plazas, playas y vive la experiencia que solo un experto en Airbnb puede darte. Somos súper anfitriones porque amamos lo que hacemos y tú vas a amar quedarte con nosotros. Por eso aprovecha nuestros días increíbles de superprecios. ¿Qué esperas? Ubicación increíble, espacio genial, experiencia inolvidable. Torre Caribe es tu pase VIP al paraíso.
Los muebles que tú necesitas para escuelas, oficinas, laboratorios y comercios los encuentras en Giré Muebles. El mejor precio, servicio y calidad es nuestro distintivo. Cotice hoy mismo al 961-2127-068, por WhatsApp al 961-279-4168.
En este noticiero que sabe escuchar, desde la sierra llega el clamor, se alza la noticia como un tambor. Montañas y ríos saben murmurar que lo importante aquí viene a informar.
Ya conoces al Teletón. Tal vez has visitado alguno de nuestros 27 centros. O conoces a alguien a quien le cambió la vida con sus terapias. Quizás conozcas el Hospital Infantil Teletón de Oncología o alguna familia que encontró esperanza en este lugar. Nos conoces en cada espacio que ha cambiado para ser más accesible para todos. Contigo hemos logrado cambiar historias, deportes e incluso la manera en la que hablamos. Nos conoces porque juntos lo hemos cambiado todo. Y prepárate, porque todavía hay mucho más por cambiar.
El Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines abre sus inscripciones para...
We're back, and we continue with national news. The Megalopolis Environmental Commission reported the suspension of the ozone environmental alert in the Mexico City metropolitan area after 2 consecutive days of restriction. The decision was made due to increased ventilation and pollen dispersion, which improved air quality in the region. The agency explained that the high pressure system affecting central Mexico shifted its center over the state of Jalisco. This change increased wind speeds across the Valley of Mexico, both at ground level and higher altitude, helping disperse population. Additionally, incoming humidity contributes to cloud formation in mountainous area, reinforcing conditions for reducing harmful particles in the atmosphere. Another factor in the improvement was the containment for fire reporting in the municipalities of Texcoco and Nezahualcóyotl, which were worsened air quality earlier in the day. Once extinguished, the additional source of containment was eliminated. The Commission stated that they continue monitoring meteorological and environmental conditions to protect public health. Authorities also emphasized the importance of responsible practices that reduce pollutant emission, such as moderate vehicle use and proper waste disposal. With the suspension of the alert, normal activity resumed in the capital and surrounding municipalities. Although officials stressed that monitoring will remain constant to prevent future environmental contingencies. And now, let's turn to international news. A shooting that took place Monday afternoon at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena, I think in Patchwork, Rhode Island, left 2 people dead, including a young girl, and 3 others hospitalized in critical condition. The suspect gunman also died after taking his own life, according to local authorities. Conquet Police Chief Tina González stated that preliminary investigations suggest that incident was a targeted attack stemming from a family dispute. According to reports, the man opened fire on his wife and 3 of his children, resulting in the death of 2 of them, while the third remains hospitalized. The attacker later died by suicide. The incident occurred on the venue located on Andrew Fennegar Way, where a school hockey game scheduled for 1400 hours between Coventry and Blackstone Valley was taking place. Witness described scene of panic, saying several people ran away and nearby Walgreens store to seek shelter. The business was closed and evacuated after reports of gunfire, while some customers remained hiding inside until authorities arrived. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKay wrote on the social platform X that he was actively monitoring the shooting and called for prayers for Patcock and all those involved. Authorities have not yet released the identified of the victim or the exact motive behind the attack. The tragedy has shaken the local community, which had waited for a school supporting event. Officials continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding this incident. And Cuba's energy crisis is approaching a critical breaking point, according to Jorge Pillon, a researcher at the University of Texas at Agustin Energy Institute with 3 decades of experience in international oil companies. The specialist described the situation as extremely critical and warned that if new crude shipments do not arrive in the coming weeks, the island could face an almost total shutdown of essential services. Piñon explained that the last vessel carrying hydrocarbons arrived in Havana on January 9, transporting 85,000 barrels from Mexico. Since then, no significant shipments have been recorded. The threat by US President Donald Trump to impose sanctions on countries supply oil to Cuba has had an immediate impact, halting deliveries and exposing structural vulnerabilities in the Cuban energy system. The country records approximately 100,000 barrels per day to sustain electricity generation and fuel supplies, yet domestic production barely covers 40,000. The remaining have depended on Venezuela, Mexico, and Russia, but declining supplies have left the island with little room for maneuver. The impact is already visible. 60% of thermoelectric plants are not operating due to the lack of maintenance and fuel, affecting potable water distribution and worsening powerful outrage. Although renewable energy projects are under development, they remain insufficient to reverse the crisis in the short term. For Piñon, The situation reflects an historic dependence on the ideological allies and a lack of structural reforms. He warned that the deterioration of the electrical system and social condition on the island will intensify without major political and economic changes. And turning now the tension in the Middle East. The government of Israel approved a mechanism to officially register larger area in the West Bank and state land, a move Palestinian authorities described as a de facto annexion of occupied territory. This marked the first time since 1967 that Israel has implemented a land registry system of this kind. Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs defended the decision as an administrative measure intended to bring order to land records. However, cabinet ministers indicate the objective to strengthen legal settlement and consolidate Israeli control. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich said the measure will continue that he described as a revolution in settlement and governments, while Justice Minister Yariv Levin reaffirmed the commitment to strengthen control over all parts of the territory. The new regulation will apply in Area C of the West Bank, which represents about 60% of the territory and is home to between 180,000 and 300,000 Palestinians, as well as more than 325,000 Israeli settlers, according to data from the organization Bethlehem. Palestinian authorities condemned the decision as a violation of international law and to consolidate the occupation through illegal settlements. Advocacy groups such as Peace Now describe the policy as a mass land appropriation, warning the process requires proof of ownership difficult for most Palestinians to provide, potentially resulting in automatic state registration of lands. The United Nations and the European Union also condemned the measure, calling it a flagrant violation of international law and a step in the wrong direction. The decision, as the recent explanation of Israeli authorities in the West Bank, increasing international secrecy and regional tension. And next, a family tragedy that has shocked a Brazilian community. The Brazilian city of Itumbiara, in the state of Goiás, is facing deep shock following a crime committed by municipal government secretary Celso Machado, son-in-law of Mayor Dione Araujo. The 40-year-old official shot his two children and later took his own life on Thursday. February 12, Miguel Araujo Machado, aged 12, died shortly after being admitted to the hospital municipal Modesto de Carabajo, while his brother, Benicio, aged 8, died Friday, February 13, at the Hospital Estatal de Itumbia, São Marcos, after hours in critical condition. The tragedy didn't affect the Major family, who had supported Machado's political career and promoted him as a possible candidate for the state debut in the incoming election. According to local media reports, Machado allegedly discovered an affair involving his wife, Sara Tinoco, the Major's daughter, who was not in the city at the time of the incident. A letter attributed to the official circulated on social media referred marital problems and offering apologies, although his identity was not being officially confirmed. Following the crime, the Itubiara city government declared 3 days of official mourning and temporarily suspended its activities. Reports also indicate that Major Dione Araujo suffered health complications after learning of the deaths. The civil police of Goiás has opened an investigation to clarify the circumstances and motives behind the crime, while the community remains in mourning. And finally, a cultural celebration observed around the world. The second to last week of February marked the beginning of Chinese New Year 2026, a millennial celebration symbolized renewal, prosperity, and personal transformation. The new cycle will begin February 17 and will extend until February 5, 2027. According to the traditional lunar calendar, which set the date on the second new moon after the winter solstice. This year will be governed by the fire horse, a combination that occurs every 60 years within the Chinese zodiac. The horse represents energy, movement, independence, and determination, while fire symbolizes leadership, transformation, passion, and creativity. According to tradition, this pairing signals the nemesis, important decision, and significant changes in both personal and collective spheres. The celebration, which varies annually between late January and mid-February, marks not only a calendar change but also a new spiritual and emotional cycle. In different parts of the world, especially with Chinese community, rituals associated with good fortune, prosperity, and renewal are observed. The Chinese zodiac consists of 12 animals: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig that repair every 12 years, while the combination with the elements such as fire returns only every 6 decades. For followers of this tradition, the new cycle opened a stage defined by action, opportunity, and prompt transformation. Chinese New Year 2026, led by the Fire Horse, is expected to be a period of intensity and change that invites reflection and personal renewal. And that concludes our international coverage for today. Thank you for staying with us here on ContraPeso Noticias. We appreciate your trust and your time. We will continue to bring you the most important story for Mexico and around the world with clarity, responsibility, and commitment to the truth. Have a great day. Stay informed, and we look forward to see you again in our next broadcast. Remember, this is ContraPeso Noticias.